Hey guys, Elizabeth Quinn here again with Elizabeth's Scenes and Scents. Welcome back to my channel. Please don't forget to check out my website, which is waftingwonderfulwax.scentsy.us, where I'm Liz Quinn, your star Scentsy consultant. So today what I have for you are the warm reviews of the holiday bricks, and I really think you are going to enjoy this batch very much. I certainly did, so let's dive right on in. I am going to go in order from my least favorite to probably a couple that are tied for first and kind of give you all of my thoughts about performance, longevity, the personalities of the bricks, and everything else in between. So I'm going to start with Warm Winter Night. And it is not that any of these are bad, because it's a really nice group of bricks this year. These are unique scents, most of them, or if they are classic scents, they're very good and they're good performers. But this one definitely is its own thing. Now, Scentsy says that this is Warm Winter Night, which is Curl Up with a hearty bourbon sweetened with a dash of citrus and brown sugar. We don't have anything that smells like this scent. It is a very nice smell. It's a very cozy and relaxing scent, but there is something in this where I like it. I will enjoy it in the wintertime. I will definitely melt this whole brick, but I don't think I need more. The bourbon, I get a little bit. The citrus and the brown sugar, I definitely get more of. And it has, I don't want to say this in the wrong way because it's not an offensive scent, but a little bit of almost a plasticky scent to me. And I don't know if that's just the bourbon mixing with the brown sugar, but it's cozy. It's interesting. It's something where I will definitely reach for this in a moment where I want something that's just smooth and really nice in the basement. But I did try this first in my bedroom just because I was warming a bunch of different things at different times. I really didn't care for it in there. I felt like it was kind of overwhelming and heavy. But the longer that this melts, that note that I don't like so much, which I could only describe as sort of being like a brown sugar plasticky note, mellows out, and then you get more of the citrus. And I don't know which type of citrus. I can't identify it. And a cuddly brown sugar and almost maybe a little bit of a body care or perfumey note. And I think that might be what's sort of messing with my mind. It's very unique. It's very enjoyable, but not something, unless after it sits for a while, something changes in this fragrance. Not something that I'm going to be running back and getting more of. But it's not like last year's Candy Apple where I literally had to give that brick away. I was not going to melt it. I will happily melt this. It's just not something that I would need to club. Now, somebody wanted to know if there was any comparison between Winter's Eve and our new Warm Winter Night. These are very different. These are both scents that could go in a man cave, but that's where the similarity ends. Winter's Night, or Winter's Eve, is much more of a cologne-y masculine scent. If I remember right, this has spruce and bergamot, and almost like a little bit of a smoky scent. It's really good. It could almost be like a Christmas soap. It's very nice. You can see I'm still working on my first and only brick of this. This is great if you mix it with a pine scent though. So we'll be getting to another brick here for this year. Should be a fabulous mixer with this if you're trying to use this up and you want more pine in that scent. But anyway, Warm Winter Night as far as strength, throw, and longevity. Good, medium strong to strong scent. It overwhelmed my bedroom. It's perfect in my basement. I'm liking it in the basement. It's cozy. It goes for a couple of days, and as I already said, I prefer it better on the second day where it sort of chills out a little bit and gets a little sweeter, a little bit less intense. So it's really good. Like, I would not, I don't know. I will melt through all of this, and I don't think I'm going to get another brick, but don't quote me. But of the 5, it came in at the bottom. They're all good. Okay, now, what comes in next, I'm having a hard time deciding because all the rest of the 4 of these, they're exceptionally beautiful, each in their own way. But for me, as far as a lack of uniqueness, best performer and probably most really, truly Christmassy brick of all of these is going to be Wrapped in Lights. Now, the only reason that this comes in lower on the totem pole for me is because I found that one of these is exceptionally unique, and I actually really liked it. Anything with tree in it, you know I'm going to rank pretty high. And then the other one that is tied for first, it's just something I'll use all the time. So this is a scent, Wrapped in Lights. It's fantastic. It's a great performer, but it's not super unique. So we have here Wrapped in Lights. Scentsy says that this is sparkling lemon, which it definitely is. The lemon note is very, very much there. And pomegranate glow with the zesty mix of mulled spices. This is a boomer. It lasts a very long time. It's an excellent scent. And if you're looking for a cider scent that is not apple. It's not orange. It's not anything that's typical. And if you miss dazzling pomegranate, which I really do, if this had had orange in it instead of lemon, I think I'd be over the moon for this. But I really had to reach for some other things and figure out, why is this not quite making me so excited? So I grabbed last year's Holly Jolly cider, which is more of an apple spice cider scent. And the thing is that there's just a sweetness, and I think there's a touch of tree in here, and that's the other thing I figured out. They isolated the tree note to only Christmas tree in this collection this year. So for many of you who get annoyed that there's tree and everything, I bet you're really happy this year. I kind of miss that little tree note. Even with this being pomegranate and lemon, if they'd thrown some tree in there, I'd probably be super excited. Because this is great, but this is better to me. So this Holly Jolly cider, I honestly need to look up notes of this for another video that I'm going to be doing, but this one is just that little bit sweeter, little bit more Christmassy, festive for my taste. Another thing that this new Wrapped in Lights is very much like is also available October the 1st, and the bricks will launch on the 14th, like I said in the original video. Holiday Market is in our Holiday 5-bar bundle collection that launches October 1st, which is tomorrow. Now this one I love. And I was only kind of so-so about it when I melted it and did my cold sniff and then warm reviews of the Holiday 5-bar bundle a couple weeks ago. But I've been doing a wax war all day today with the Wrapped in Lights and the Holiday Market. And I see why it is that this one I don't get quite as excited about. This is sweeter. I love grapefruit, the pomegranate and the grapefruit with the allspice. There is just a little bit more of a gentleness and warmth to this, whereas the Wrapped in Lights has a little bit of sharpness from the pomegranate and the lemon, and then there are mulled spices in here that's heavier than the Holiday Market. And then the other thing I really wanted to see, how does this relate to Christmas Cottage? Because all three of these will be available at some point in October of this year. So Christmas Cottage is our old school classic where it's got the citrus. In this case, I think it's more like a mandarin. It's got raspberry. It's got the spices. In some ways, it's got a similar profile to both of these bars. But this one has, this has the clove. It's got the raspberry. It's got the mandarin. There is both sweetness and spice and depth, well, all three things. Whereas this one doesn't have quite so much depth because it doesn't have any raspberry. This one's just as deep as Christmas Cottage, but it's a little sharper. So I hope that that is helpful. I think if anyone loves pomegranate and you want something that's a festive mulled pomegranate, which is hard to come by, and you really love lemon, the lemon just sharpens it up more than the grapefruit does in the Holiday Market. This is probably going to be, as you watch all the reviews from people, one of the top ones that comes in. My bet is that the salted caramel cider and Wrapped in Lights are going to be most people's top faves. So that is just me because I like the apple, I like the grapefruit, and I even like orange better than the combo of pomegranate and lemon, but it's a phenomenal scent, excellent performer, heartstring tugger, just right. Now, initially I said that it was a good bit like Be Merry, and I had sniffed them together. I really don't see that being as good of a comparison as the other things that I just shared with you as I have melted and thought about it, because as I already had the aha moment, nothing else in this collection has tree, and usually they throw a little bit of tree in with the mulled spice cider fruit scents. So let's move on to the isolated tree scent. They put baby in the corner. It's so sad. So Christmas tree is very good. It's extremely classic. If you're a tree hater, I'm thinking this is going to be your tree scent. Scentsy says that Christmas tree is fresh air, pine needles, and that pine needle fresh air thing swirls through a pine wood forest. Yes, it smells like a pine wood forest. It really doesn't do what I love about Christmas tree scents, which is give you that hard-hitting, in-your-face blast of very high-spirited pine sappiness. This is far more toned down. So it's very good. But what's really funny is that because I'm such a tree junkie, I put the appropriate amount of wax for a pine or evergreen scent in my warmers. Went off to do my things. Mostly I think I was reviewing these in my mind on Saturday. Like I try to do a whole day, especially with bricks, or 2 days so that I can give you good reviews that last more than 5 minutes. of observation. So I put your average amount of Christmas tree type wax in, doing my errands, I'm doing my chores, and coming in and out. And I'm like, where's the tree? So I added more. And then I got a little bit more tree. But for someone who loves me a tree scent, I want it to hit me in the face with that sweet perfumey pine. This one does not have that. So other things that it's really not all that much like Sleigh Ride still has more because this one has fir. Fir needle I think is one of those things I just adore. And I also like balsam, and I really, really like spruce, and I like what they just classically call evergreen, which I'm not sure what the mix is when they tell you it's an evergreen oil. But anyway, this one gives you more of that sweet fir. Now, iced pine, I would say if you're going to compare them, these two are the most similar, but this has more of that in-your-face front note of pine. And when you warm this, there's just this boom that I adore that this does not have. For me, really honestly and truly, and I was going to compare it to one more scent before I go on that, Black Forest Pine, another one that I love, and a friend mentioned that it might be kind of like this. Now, Black Forest Pine is the pine scent that went and got a makeover at a really high-end hotel. So this one, which, we don't have this right now. I'm just trying to explain and compare and all that for you guys. Black Forest Pine has pepper tangerine, smoked vanilla, layers of deep dark evergreens. Like, it is so interesting. You warm this and it keeps changing. Iced pine doesn't change, but it does have a little bit of peppermint, and then there got to be a couple different oils that are pine related. And it's a higher tone type scent. Then we get to Christmas tree. Christmas tree, to me, is as though those initial oils had burned off and you're left with all the base notes of your typical evergreen or Christmas tree type scent. Now, for those of you that hate tree, I think you're going to love this because it isn't going to give you that obnoxious pow in your face pine thing that for some of you it gives you a headache, it makes you nauseous. It's not like fresh balsam from Bath & Body Works at all. This is just deep. I think it will be an excellent mixer. So they say all that's in here is fresh air, pine needles, and pine wood. I don't get the needles. Really, guys, I don't. I get that pine wood forest and sort of a resinous piney scent, but it's not bright at all. Which is why I kept adding more to the warmer, because I'm like, where's the zing? There's just no fizz. There's no zip in my Miracle Whip. And I've got all the jingle phrases today. I don't know where those are coming from. It's just a very nice, well-behaved, somewhat flat, deep pine tree scent. So I would really love to know if others of you have warmed this already. Are you getting the same thing that I am, or is it just because I am so in love with all my evergreens that I find this one to be very plain Jane? It's sort of like the little black dress of the tree category. I think it'll be great. Like I said, I think it'll be a wonderful mixer. I will get another brick of this just because I love pine tree everything. It's extremely classic, but I just don't find it terribly interesting. So I guess that comes in at number 3 because I love tree. But yeah, that was really weird. I don't think there's ever been another time where I had to keep adding wax to the warmer to get what I thought I wanted out of a tree scent, because that's just, Scentsy's tree scents are so strong and they're so complex that that's never an issue. Okay, number 3. What am I going to pick for number 3? Or no, we're down to number 2. These last two, you guys, I love them both, and I know for most of you that watch me, this is going to be a shock. I really can't choose between these top two. The salted caramel cider is lovely, but I really like the butterscotch brittle. I think this is so weird and unique and fun, and I really like it. So I guess we'll talk about this first. So the butterscotch brittle, Scentsy says that this is crushed peppermint that brings a festive flair of decadent butterscotch, buttery caramel, and creamy vanilla to your party. I really like this. It is interesting. It's got this wonderful smoky butterscotch. Throws like a beast. I put 2 warmers full, not too much wax. Kind of like I had started out the Christmas tree one very tentatively thinking it was going to overtake my house. This overtook my house in 5 minutes. Very beautiful, bright peppermint. But because of all the butterscotch, and it's totally a smoky butterscotch, they don't say that, but every single review I have watched, they're like, ooh, there's smokiness here. It's very much like the base of Scary Good, which I did warm this week. You'll see both of these in my What I've Been Warming videos. It's got a lot of the same base as Scary Good, and that must be why I love it. And then you add the peppermint, and I just find it really interesting. It's as though you took the best of Christmas and the best of Halloween, smushed them together, and you got this brick. Now the thing is, even though I really like this, I don't know how much I'll melt it. So I don't know whether I'll just get 1 or 2 more bricks and call it good, or I might club this as I continue to melt and figure out what I think of it. But it's really, really nice if you're not thrown off by those two very juxtaposed scents. So it's like nothing else we've ever had. That's why I like it so much. It's homey and it's approachable and it's not cold and it doesn't give me a headache. And like that's a lot of high praise from me for peppermint. Absolutely love this. I think it is so neat. But the scent that I know I will warm the most is going to be the salted caramel cider. More than likely this will go into my club. This is beautiful. So Scentsy says that this is, where'd it go? Salted caramel and sweet vanilla bean. Add warmth and complexity to fresh pressed apple cider. The only criticism I have for this scent is that it's a little bit deep and a little bit less sweetness of the apple than I personally would like, and I'll tell you why when I show you some other bars it reminds me of. So it is good and salty. Almost to the point where there's a little bit of a savoriness to this, where as I'm melting it, I'm arguing with myself a little bit. Do I love it? Or do I like it? And I keep thinking love is winning out over time as I get through this whole brick, which this thing, I'm going to have to make some samples and then it's just going to disappear because I'm going to keep warming it and thinking about it. But this scent reminds me of 3 things that we have had from Scentsy all lumped together. So it has elements of Bright Cider Life, and I'm telling you what, if just that little bit more sweetness from the apple of Bright Cider Life was in this brick, it would be far and away my favorite thing out of the whole collection. It's got salted caramel toffee, but deepen it a little bit. Those two are the majority of this scent. But the salted caramel toffee, this was a brick several years ago. We're going to talk about that in another video I'm going to film today where I hope you guys have some fun. As I was thinking about all the influences that are in this group of bricks, I thought, I need to go back and dig up the bricks of the past. So I'm going to do a chat style video from 2020 to now talking about all of the holiday bricks that have been released. I don't own all of them, but I've got them down and I've melted them all so we can talk about them. But anyway, salted caramel toffee plus Bright Cider Life is a lot of the body of this brick. But there is also a little bit of caramel apple craze in here, because there's that little bit of the caramely appley note, that saturated quality that's in that bar that's also in this brick. So it's almost like you took all 3 of these bars, melted them down together, and then deepened the caramel to a point where it's almost going to get burned. Not quite, it doesn't smell burned, but it's really deep, and you added a pinch more salt. That's this. It's addictive, it's interesting, I keep wanting to warm it over and over again. So I would say that this probably is the best brick in the bunch if you're looking for something different though. This butterscotch brittle is so fascinating and I absolutely love it. So am I going to get another 5-bar bundle? As far as scent appeal, I could, but I have so much other type of stuff. There's something wrong with those tenses, but that's okay. I'm not going to fix it. There are so many things that are similar to the Wrapped in Lights. I don't know that I need another whole brick of that. I don't know that I want another whole brick of Warm Winter's Night. I think I want another one of Christmas Tree because it could become an epic tree scent mixing brick. And I definitely need more of the salted caramel toffee or salted caramel cider and more of the butterscotch brittle. But what do I club and what do I just stock up on? So things for me to think about. If you are a consultant and you're still thinking about pulling the trigger on getting early access bricks, do it. They're all great. I'm not going to have any trouble melting through any of them. But those are my thoughts as far as warm reviews. Please let me know what you guys are thinking. I'm dying to know what you guys think about the Christmas tree one. Just, is it strong enough in your home? Are you getting enough different notes that you really like it? Is the simplicity what you like? But because I like my tree scents to be very complex, that's what's making it not as exciting for me. I'm really curious about what other people are getting with that. And I'm also dying to know, do the rest of you really like the butterscotch brittle, or do you find it offensive, that split personality between the smoky butterscotch and the peppermint? So this is Elizabeth Quinn with Elizabeth Scenes and Scents. Have a great day, guys. God bless. Bye-bye.